We have finished the recording process. Time to go back to my planet. Welcome to the Cory Experiences Life podcast. I am here with my friends in a band called Anyone Anyway. Anyone Anyway is a band from Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island, I believe. And
no, that's not true.
And that's not true. Yeah. So I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself. Oh, yeah, Joey's here as well.
Hey.
Joey's also here. Again. 3 in a row. So, Colin, who are you? What do you do?
I'm Colin. I play guitar in Anyone Anyway.
What else do you do?
I also do backing vocals.
Satisfied.
Sometimes.
Nick, you're up.
I'm Nick. I play guitar. I also do some screaming stuff.
Max, I play drums.
I'm Nick, and I sing.
Joey, what do you do?
What do you do, Joey?
I'm just a helping hand, you know?
I'm just here to make everyone happy.
Yeah, that's all
You're
it
doing
is.
great.
Doing a
Max,
lot of paperwork is all.
Max, you said you play drums, but you do a little bit more than that. What have you been doing all week?
Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. I just been booking some shows and stuff and, nailing down our schedule for the upcoming few months. And, yeah, I don't know.
Cool. So you guys have been a band. You guys are, I'm going to call it a rock band, alt-rock band in that realm. For how many years now?
It's been about 4 that we've been playing shows. 4 and almost
Yeah.
almost 5.
Yeah.
Well, it's been over 6 years since we've been jamming with Colin.
Well,
But we didn't get off the ground for a while.
there's a lot of stages of what this band was. So if you want to go all the way back to the beginning, it started with Max and I in 2012.
Yeah.
2012, we were just kind of jamming in his basement. And then fast forward like 2 or 3 years, then we actually started playing shows and stuff. So, and then we weren't an actual like functioning band until like 2 years ago.
Yeah. So I guess to touch on that, I met you guys. I guess we met when we first recorded.
Yeah.
We had been friends on the internet for a little bit beforehand. But when you guys came up in April of 2017, which is coming up on, I guess, 2 years ago, you guys hadn't yet toured at that point, right? That was like...
Yeah.
Nope.
So why the hell did you come to Canada to record? How did that happen?
Well, so it was like we were trying to find a way to get like the best product possible, but also like seeing that you've been like planted in the industry to some extent. You had been on Warped Tour and whatnot. It was like, let's see like what we can learn from him also. He seems like a valuable person to be friends with and have on your team and stuff. So
So at what point did you realize that that's not how it was going to turn out?
when we got here,
No, I remember having the conversation. We were all hanging out at my house, and Colin had, like, you guys had, like, talked briefly, I guess, on the internet. And so Colin was like, well, I know this guy records stuff, and, we didn't really, know anybody in our area that we, wanted to record anything with. So I just remember Colin, was like, yo, this guy records stuff. This is what his band sound like. He works on his, like, own stuff a lot, and, this sounds good. We should do this. And so we were like, okay,
I remember...
let's set him up.
Okay, so just to give some backstory and some context and just to, I guess, put it out into the public. So I met Colin on the internet.
Facebook.
Yeah, on Facebook through, I think it was the NDE group.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I posted like, yo, my band just released some music. And then you were like, yo, I like this. And then we were chatting a little bit. And you're like, yo, can I add you on Facebook?
Yeah.
And I was like...
I remember being like, just trying
That's pretty
not
cute.
to come off like too strongly.
I was like, I'll talk to the Suits. I don't know if I'm able to, No, but so then we started going from there. And then last night when we were hanging out after we finished recording, by the way, we just finished recording.
Yeah.
Woo! Where was I going with that?
We're talking about.
Yeah, Nikki brought up that you
I sent you our first EP.
Yeah. Which
and
I remember you sending me, but I don't remember like the tunes.
That's good.
Good.
But yeah, fast forward. Eventually, Colin hit me up and he was like, "Yo, would you be interested in recording like drums or guitar?" It was something. It was like some separated part of the production process. You're like, "We're planning on doing this here, and this there," and I was like, "Yo, I'll just do the whole thing." And you're like, "Really?"
Yeah.
And then you're like, "Wait, I have to ask all my like friends." And then we made it work. But yeah, that for me that was pretty special because you guys are the first like American band that I've recorded since working with you guys the first time around, the first EP. I've actually got like a handful of projects because of it, which is always pretty special. But
That's cool.
there's like this weird little like group of people that I now know in like Massachusetts or like around where you guys live. Like we have mutual friends and stuff, which is I guess pretty powerful to see like how it's connected with people and how meeting you guys has introduced me to other people and just kind of I guess how special this
Branching out.
Well, we could say the
both
same
ways
thing, yeah.
entirely.
Yeah.
Because that you linked us up with Pine
Yeah.
and Heavy Hearts, both,
Yeah. True.
And Certainty.
and eventually Certainty. Yeah.
Cool.
Because you were doing their record a few months later, and they were like, "Yo, Cory told us to hit you guys up, and you guys are sick. Let's do some shows." So then we did, and now they're like great friends of ours.
Yeah. Hell yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah, and even I was gonna say even just like so, you're saying that a lot of people in Massachusetts because of us, and we know people in Canada, but it's just like I think that it's cool. The first time 2 years ago when we met and we made the EP, I think for us that was like as a band that was like the push that we needed to like actually start taking ourselves as seriously as we do now, because we have accomplished so much since that defining moment.
100%. Let's talk about that. So at the point that you guys came and recorded in April of 2017, you hadn't toured at that point, or at least you hadn't toured. Maybe played one or two out of town shows or something, and yeah. So since that point, you guys have independently released an EP. You guys have toured internationally. You've obviously made tons of friends and connections. Right now you're working on booking some tours in different parts of the country that you haven't played, so you're still kind of growing and expanding. What have you guys learned? I mean, obviously a whole lot, but what are some of the takeaways since the last time I saw you guys, I guess, or since we recorded the EP? Like, what have you learned? What, besides everything?
It's obviously a tough question.
Yeah.
For me, I guess it's just that the whole thing about like being with these guys for extended periods of time, especially when you're on tour and you're constantly in motion.
Yeah.
You're constantly moving. I don't know. I guess I learned that, this is more of a family now. Now that we've done all this. And yeah, I think it's definitely sort of, for me, rooted my place and my role in this band. And like, because of what we've done since last time we were here, I'm kind of a lot more, I hate to say I treat it like a job, but like, I'm more in the mode of like I wake up every day and like I know I have to do something for the band. If the band, I've said this before, but if the band isn't like 1 inch farther in the grand scheme of things after the end of the day, then I screwed up. So it's
Wow.
I guess it's driven me to care more. I guess I care more a lot. And I mean I cared at the time. Trust me. Like we drove up to Canada to record, obviously.
Yeah.
And we paid, and we at that point we had already done a lot, but it like Nikki said, it was like an extra push to the next tier.
Yeah. I would say, from then on to here, like what we've learned is, before when we were just we just wanted to play music and be in a band just because we like it, Now, as we've kind of been on the road and, have experienced like the actual work of being in a band. You know, it's like there's so many more things that we didn't take into consideration before that now we're like, okay, like now all these things are, you know, falling into place. Like we need to act on this and do stuff. So, you know, like Max is, you know, consistently like reaching out to people, trying to like, you know, book shows here and there and like route stuff out for us. And, you know, in the future, you know, we need to take our merch seriously. You know, we bought a van, all that stuff. It's like, you know, it's fun and we love what we do, and like we love that we, you know, get to be able to do this, but it's also like, you know, so much more work than we had initially imagined.
So much more work and so much more responsibility.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
But we love that
sometimes
too, you know. It's,
yeah, and it's part of the fun, but obviously sometimes you feel it.
Doing so much of the work feels pretty good though, like because then it like
not always.
you not like literally, not like physically, but like sometimes it just feels good knowing that like we are putting the work in.
Yeah. It's rewarding.
Yeah.
Especially when you see it paying off. I think the tough part about playing in a band is, well, yeah, if you were to go to like any, let's say, part-time job or whatever, your job is outlined. This is what you have to do. This is what you have to do before you leave. Like, do this. When you do that, you are done. You have completed it. When you play in a band, there is no outline. There's no path. So it's a lot of like, how can I be productive? How can I become that inch, or move forward an inch today in my band's career? And I think that's like causes a lot of uncertainty and second guessing and stuff. So it's, yeah, I totally, when you do feel like you're making progress, when you take that step forward, it is a very reassuring and validating step. And I think to kind of touch how we got into this conversation, like when you guys originally came up, obviously the EP we made, like we're all, you know, super happy with how it turned out. It's one of my favorite projects that I worked on for sure. But from like just like body language and seeing you guys like act from the start of that process to the end of it, in between and now, it seems like you guys, it almost like gave you reassurance that what you're doing is making an impact in some way and that you are moving forward, and that
Yeah, like we know that by coming here, it's the right move. You know what I mean?
cool.
Yeah.
And there's something about coming back like the second time, where it's everything's familiar. We're already really comfortable with
Yeah.
the scenery, the environment, the people. You know what I mean? First time it was like brand new. I had never been out of the country. You know what I mean? No.
Really?
Yeah,
The first time you left
Wait.
the States was to come to...
yeah, to record.
How did none of us
Really?
know that?
Yeah,
Yeah. What?
that's the first time I ever left the country. Yeah,
Damn.
That's special.
That's very.
That's powerful. Wow.
and because I did, I crossed over. You know, with these guys, we crossed over. I don't even know how many times. Last year for the music video,
Yeah.
and this year. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Nick, how you doing?
That's tight.
Holding up?
Holding up.
I'm great, man. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you guys want to talk about?
That wasn't 40 minutes, right?
No,
I
we're
can
still
get that-
going. We're still going.
We haven't talked
Let's
about
talk about Brian.
the recording.
Yeah, we haven't
Oh.
talked about the process this time.
Can we talk about Brian?
Absolutely.
I love Brian.
Hi, Brian. I love you.
Brian.
Brian.
He's gonna be on this
And your dog.
record, right? Isn't he?
Oh, yeah,
Doesn't
we're
he have
gonna
a
get-
part?
Yeah,
You're gonna-
I mean,
okay,
he should
we're
probably
gonna
have a
make
few
that
parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of those.
High ones.
Oh yeah.
That no one else can
Just
hit.
toss
Hair
him
in the
on there.
wind, just.
Yeah. I gotta get a fan in here. An industrial
Shout
fan.
out old James.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Listen to old James.
Yeah, shout out old James.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about, I guess, am I able to disclose the amount of songs, or do we recorded some music this time around, and
A few tracks.
how was the...
Few.
It's true, yeah.
So.
It's not a couple.
It's not a couple,
And
it's a few.
not several.
How many, what's several defined as?
More than.
Probably
Whoa,
more than
now we're
4.
getting too specific, okay? I don't know,
Whoa,
you know,
whoa.
Maybe a
Whoa.
handful.
No. This-
Rewind.
You got five. You got 5 fingers. That's
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it can't still fit.
all right.
in
Moving
we
on.
recorded a
What
few
about many?
songs.
there.
More than one, less than a
I
million.
don't think many.
Yes.
No, many is a lot.
More than one, less than a million. Let's go with that.
How
Sorry,
was
guys.
the writing process this time around? I find with bands, making the first EP or the first body, or I shouldn't say the first EP, but you like the first couple creations of art, there's these giant gaps in like leveling up and really kind of getting it and finding some sort of sound and direction. And then after you achieve that, the amount you improve by is significantly less because you've hit a certain point. Does that make sense? Am I making sense with that?
Yeah.
So how was the writing process this time around? With the EP, I think we were all pretty stoked on how it came out. Mm-hmm. So obviously we're coming into this process with the attitude of like, okay, we have to hit this standard. We have created a standard. We have to hit that. So what was, I'm going to ask Nick here, what was your mindset kind of going into this process? You, Nick.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Our mindset going into this one? I think that we were a lot more comfortable just based on the past experience of, doing this. But we came in with less recorded pre-production this time around compared to last time around. So in that aspect, we were like, these songs could really go anywhere because we've left a lot of room to change things around and mold upon it, which is like what we saw. That's what we really wanted to get out of this process because we got so much molding out of the last one where those songs were kind of like not necessarily super different, but just so improved upon that we were like, all right, so Cory does have our vision in mind. There's already a creative blend between us. We're pretty confident with how these are going to turn out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
we were just a lot more comfortable coming into it. We had way less pre-production and demoing. I remember, coming the last time, we prepped for months. We were
We had 3 or 4 sets of demos.
Yeah,
for each.
we got so serious, and that's great. I'm really proud of the fact that we did that, but it was because we were uncertain, because we had never been here, you know what I mean? But now that we have, it's been so great. Now that we come back, it's like we know we don't have to go that hard in the prep. And like Nick said, it's cool to come in less prepped because then there's more.
Speak for yourself.
There's more. No, it is. In general, it is because there's more room to mold and there's more room to
mold with
maybe
intent.
lyrically
change
we'll prep
stuff.
Mold
more.
with intent.
Yeah, lyrically.
I tried,
maybe.
dude.
Okay.
It's always cool to write lyrics in the
months
studio.
in coffee shops.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so real quick is to have a better idea of how much of a time difference it was. That we probably had 6 months before doing the EP. This time we had 3 almost.
Yeah, we
2,
we had a cover
2
show.
months.
We had a cover show 2 weeks before we came here. Right. And so we're busy learning those songs and trying to figure that out. And
It was August, and we had just done the EP release show, and we were like, okay, what do we do next? We got some stuff that we should just get on that and put those out as soon as possible, before the year's.
I think we're in a mindset to constantly release music.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea for several reasons. All right, so instrumentally, everyone seems to be on the same page. Nick,
What's up? Hey,
talk to me.
what do you want to talk about?
Writing process this time around. Actually, let me elaborate on that.
Yeah.
So there was a general theme with the last EP.
Yeah.
The songs all kind of had this general theme, I guess is the way to describe
Yeah.
it.
Well, so with the last EP, especially being the last EP, in my head, it's the first real thing we released. We had some songs that we released beforehand, but we were a lot less developed as a band, and it's just those aren't really anyone anyway songs to me. So with the EP that we made, if that felt really good because I finally was getting things. I was saying things that I had wanted to say for a long time. It was almost easy to write that in comparison to these songs that we recorded because there's just I think in a similar way to when you talk about a band and their first release versus their sophomore release, you have your whole life to think about what you want to say for the first one. You only have a year or two for the second one.
Yeah.
And so for these songs, I was okay, I kind of said what I wanted to say for a while on the EP. So now I have to think of something else I want to say. And because it's not these songs that we recorded, they're not as cohesive as the other ones. So I had to think of, less than one kind of area. So it was like, for me as writing, I was, for me, when I write, I, try to get into a mindset of, the topic and all that. And I read something similar to it. And I think about it. I spend a lot of time at coffee shops, just hanging out, just kind of getting a feel for what I want to say. And so for these, I had to think of a bunch of different things. And, I felt like I was going crazy, cause like one of the songs is talking about somebody I hate, another song's talking about, beautiful things. And so felt like I was a few different people, so this time around I was trying to figure out what I wanted to say was not as easy. And so I think that's another great thing about coming here and hanging out with you guys. And I'm glad that Joey was here a lot longer this time around because...
Sorry, I know what we're gonna talk about after.
Okay, cool. Yes. But yeah, so just kind of hanging out with you guys, and I had a feel finally when we got in what I wanted to say, and Nick always says you can't make diamonds without pressure.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my favorite thing because pressure's on. All right, make something, make it good because you have to do it. And you have to do it now. So Joey and I spent 13 hours in that closet over there, just all right, so let's try this, and so he just coached me to success. Thanks, man.
We did it.
So it got a lot less stressful when we were here.
Cool. I'm glad to hear that. So let's talk about, I guess, a little bit about the process specifically. When we recorded the EP in April of 2017, we had 7 days to do 5 songs. And we spent, the shortest day was probably 12 hours. The longest day was probably 16, which I think was the last day, if not longer. Because we went, early morning to, 3 or 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Documented, it's proof, it's on YouTube. We're not lying. This time around, we probably spent, consistently between 11 and 13 hours a day.
Yeah.
And we had 6 days to do a few songs.
I think we had the same amount as last time. I think
Yeah, same amount?
7
we had
days.
7 days this
Yeah.
time.
We had 7 days.
I don't think we thought about being here yesterday.
Okay.
But we just did.
There we go. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So,
It just kind of happened.
when we did the EP, Joey was on tour, and he came back for the last 2 or 3 days.
It was a day and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
Day and a half, and I brought my computer from home, and we tracked vocals and aux perk separately from tracking the instrumental to make sure that we got everything done on time. Obviously, the band lives a significant distance away, and members are in school and stuff, so it's tough to find the time for everyone to do this. So we got to get it done with the time that we have. And then this time around, similar thing. A lot more molding up front, working on the tunes, and we also did a split production thing, but I'd almost say even one step further. So for the last 2 days, maybe 3 days, we had
3
days, yeah. We had Joey and Nikki in a separate room with demo versions of the song, structures there, guitar parts are there, but it's not the final performance. And they were working on the vocals. And Joey came up with tons of brilliant ideas, just which is
Incredible.
Thank you.
yeah, I could talk about that
Oh,
forever,
yeah.
but it's really interesting to have someone else work on vocals from start to finish, and then you get that as a product, get to listen to it, get your gut reaction off it, and maybe go, maybe on this one we can try this, and maybe on this one we can do that, and ultimately it creates an awesome product. But yeah, Joey, do you want to talk about that? You spent at least 2 days, 13 hours in a row, tracking vocals while guitars were blasting in this room while I was tracking guitars. So yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we just tried to capture the best takes we could possibly get. We both had a lot of patience with each other because, there's just so many. No, I don't believe you. Go again. I could only say so many things and not get into my own head without we're never gonna get there. It's like we will get there, and then we pump each other up and like, you can do it, man. You can.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't see me. There's like a door between us. I'm just like jumping around like crazy person.
No, it's good though. I've said it time and time again, but I'll say it again on the record. Excuse me. Yeah, some of like the best vocal takes that Nicky's ever had, and it's
Agreed.
Thanks.
I can hear the patience in the takes,
Yeah.
like with no trickery at all. Everything sounds like awesome.
Yeah.
Like sounds awesome, which
And dude,
only
I
makes
makes
everyone's
I
job
gotta
easier.
hand that to Joey. He'd just be like, all right, a little bit more like this. And be like, okay, all right, I can do that. And he'd just be like, all right, so just a little bit more like this, like my freaking coach. He's better than any
good.
soccer coach
good.
ever.
So to talk about that process, I guess a little bit more. At no point was I ever really like stressed at all, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it's just like, okay, we are there in there recording vocals for a song while we're re-recording all the guitar parts and not just doing them the exact same way we had them on the demos. Like we're reworking parts.
Yeah.
Like,
We definitely had like the
Pretty-
demo ears
yeah.
because like, yeah.
and I mean, we've thrown everything together. The last day we spent working on, I guess, on the main rig with the finalized instrumentals, and we kind of tailored some vocal parts to like fit if we needed it to, and everything is awesome. But I think that's a really interesting experience. Have we done that with any other?
It happened in 2015 with the Lionels when I
Right.
first moved here.
Yeah.
Didn't know too much about Pro Tools. It was just like record, save the best takes. Like that's all I knew.
Yeah, cool.
And then I guess again with Anyone Anyway, I feel like it happened again.
Didn't it happen with
Iliad,
like
first
some
time.
sort of
Iliad.
metal band?
Iliad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what happened. Yeah, we'd like split up guitars and vocals and crazy. Yeah,
It's good. It's a good way to tackle things if like
it honestly feels incredible as like an engineer, because you're just like, I know things are getting done. Like there's no. That's literally the only way things can go faster. Is if
Absolutely,
multiple
yeah.
people are working in different stations, which is
and then you put the
Pretty insane.
puzzle together and everything's just like, whoa.
I got kind of nervous about putting the puzzle together though,
Yeah?
initially, just because we both separately were going like so hard, like so like
painting with
we're just gonna
big
go.
strokes.
We got demo versions and just we're just gonna go, and
That's the fun.
but like
though.
without like, which was awesome. It was so cool, but like we didn't really take the other side into much consideration. I don't think.
yeah,
Not
at
that we
all.
really needed to, which was nice. Like yesterday when we were putting stuff together, and it was just like, okay, these all work absolutely fine together. Like this is all great.
Yeah, I think that comes down to us all just kind of being on the same page most of the time.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, like Joey and I have worked on 1,000 plus records together, and I remember the first time we
Probably
worked
a little
together,
more,
you
but
guys
whatever.
described it as having lots of chemistry, or like
Yeah.
some wacky chemistry. But yeah, very interesting.
Very cool.
I'm glad that like the first step we do too is like, what's the goal, and we're like, because then we really get all on the same page, and then it's easy to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
separate sessions. You know what I mean? Like you just said, we're all on the same page because we're really serious about what we want to do right at the start. I think that's a great way to start
Conference
Definitely.
meeting.
100%.
any process. You know?
If you want to build something, you have to like, or if you want to make a good record, I really think this is an important part. You have to build it with intent.
Absolutely.
You can't just be like, yo, let's record some DIs and like, we'll have some
Yeah.
MIDI drums and like at some point it's going to turn into a record. It's like, no, this has to be played with intent.
And we accomplished our goals.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to talk about is something that I think is like really beautiful. So last night, after we finished recording, we kind of like all hung out, which was really nice. I mean, we were hanging out every night, but we knew we didn't have to like wake up and record. So we're having a little bit more fun last night, and we got into like show and tell time where we were all like showing like the first bands we played in, or like some memorable local shows, or the first recordings we did. And it's absolutely insane. Yeah, I was showing you guys a video of like a band I played in when I was 14 or 15, and you're like, yo, that's like Colin. That's exactly Colin. How crazy is it? Like, we live
Joey's
so
Under
far
Oath
away.
covers.
So bad.
are great.
It's so bad.
Things are still so similar
good, dude.
Yeah,
in a way.
it's so interesting that you can just find like-minded individuals that just have similar interests anywhere, and once you realize that, oh, we like the same thing, you just instantly like, yep.
Just friends.
Distance isn't a factor.
I was talking to Brian right after you guys left the house to go to Timmy's,
I love Brian.
and
Brian.
he's like, oh, what an amazing group of dudes. I'm like, yeah, isn't it insane? They live far away, but it's just like, you know, you're like, oh, you like this? You like this? Okay, here's the key to my house. There's just like an
Literally.
instant bond and trust. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
cool. You know, at no point am I worried, like, oh, are these guys? Yeah, they're good people. Isn't that crazy?
I remember last time being
Totally
like,
crazy.
he's giving us the key to his house. Are you sure?
I mean, that's wildly irresponsible because I have roommates. But
but
It's been nothing but
no, yeah,
good times.
yeah, man,
feels like home.
it's special.
We'll be
All right,
back.
Nick, any final words?
It was fast.
It was fast. Rewind.
Rewind,
Okay.
please. Rewind.
I'm going to end this here. Thank you for watching if you watched all the way through. Be sure to check out the EP that they recorded and put out in July. And stay tuned. Make sure to check out their links. I'll leave them in the comment section below.
Tune in or die.
Anyone, anyway.
If I could get that $20 you owe
Stay
me.
tuned.
If can you PayPal me $20? I'd really appreciate that.
I really
For
like you.
exposure.
Also, I really like you. Still recording. It's good. Oh, it all worked. That's a good feeling. The second you start, you're like, did I hit the record button?